Unlike the 16th of September, which is Mexican Independence Day, Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. That's a mistake many people make. It's not. And it's not a Mexican holiday. It's a U.S. Civil War holiday. It was celebrated continuously by Latinos here in California. And up until about 1910, 1920, you actually still had some old survivors of the Civil War and of the French intervention here in California that provided the core of the commemoration for the Cinco de Mayo, what it was all about. But they began to die out about 1900, 1910, 1920, just as you had a new wave of immigration from Mexico, refugees fleeing the Mexican Revolution. These new immigrants came here. They understood, yeah, here's a strange holiday they celebrate in California called Cinco de Mayo. But because there was almost a missing of the generation, these new refugees arrived just as the older generation was just dying out. We didn't get a lot of generational passage of memory. So what happened is these new immigrants realized that we celebrate something, but what it was kind of got lost in the 1920s and the 1930s. Cinco de Mayo became kind of a track meet that was celebrated downtown at the Coliseum by USC. And then, of course, along came World War II, and Cinco de Mayo became actually a very big military holiday. It had big parades downtown because, once again, freedom and democracy around the world was under attack. Oh, Cinco de Mayo, that's all about freedom and democracy. So it was a huge, actually, military event. In the 50s, it kind of lost its way, but then in the 60s, the Chicano generation revamped Cinco de Mayo, added in new heroes, new images that weren't even around, like Che Guevara, Emiliano Zapata, or putting in the zoot suit. But, you know, it's a Latino holiday. It's not a Mexican holiday. And, of course, along came the eighth wave of immigration in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They had children. And we've continued to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo was in the White House in 2003. Cinco de Mayo got its own postage stamp in 2006. And we're going to be coming up to the 150th anniversary. But we've forgotten why we celebrate. Is it just to have a big party? Well, I'm not against having a big party. Parties are fine. But what I want to do by 2010, that's why I want to have this book done. That's why we're doing a documentary. I would like for us to take just a few minutes just to remember why we celebrate. And it goes back to the American Civil War and the French intervention. It was all about defending freedom and democracy, and for that, Latinos in this country have always been there. I just wanted to make sure we remember that. We have always been defending freedom and democracy.